energy from love, because that's a restoration. It's restorative. It goes back to its original form. Oh my God, I think we've got a special guest. They're here.
Are they here?
They're here.
Okay.
Everybody,
Step down.
they're here. Well, that's more if you're willing to step into the role of wisdom and counsel and guidance, therapeutic counsel, guidance, wisdom, knowledge, experience. It's actually going to be quite a serious one.
Oh, yeah, I can be serious. I can be serious.
All
At
right.
times, I can be serious. Oh, serious ones at a funeral. Oh, serious ones at a funeral, you know.
Just once.
Hey, Lisa, hope you're well. Special guest, drum roll.
I'm not really all that serious.
No, we know that.
Let me change my camera here. Okay. It's still really dark outside and raining.
All right. What time is it there?
5 a.m., 5:15.
Wow. You are dead set. A
Can
true.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. People probably can't
Okay.
hear me that well, but that's okay. They don't really need to hear me because it's not me that they're going to be listening to. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whoever is watching, people of all ages and credos and values, beliefs, doesn't matter where you're from, what you're doing, everyone's welcome here. Janelle is, I would probably say, a friend of mine who reached out to me a long time ago. Actually, I won't say reached out to me. She was in a live a long time ago, and something came through for Janelle. She accepted it. She recognised all of the little messages that were coming through, the signs, and went, I know who that is. That's mine. And we kept going with it, and we've been in contact ever since then. And what I've come to learn over that time was, how long ago now? Was it like nearly a year, 6 months to a year?
Longer, actually. My husband passed away in August, so it's been like 2 years.
Yeah,
Last
because he
time.
was watching. Well, I mean, he was, but
He was still alive.
He was giving you shit about it. That's right. Are you watching that Tarot Daddy again, are you? Oh,
He was
yeah,
giving me
Tarot Daddy. Yeah. So, and I didn't know about this, guys. I had no clue about it at the time. But what I've come to learn from, having conversations with Janelle is that she is a very well, when I say well, I'm saying extremely well educated, experienced, not just in life, okay, but like the formal education, like the stuff that I'm doing, except I don't have a master's or a PhD. Janelle's probably about one or two subjects. I think it's one thesis, one thesis or something away from the PhD. Give or take. It's either one. It's one or two subjects away from the PhD. Put it this way: you don't have long to finish.
Right.
You just got to get a backside in the gear and get it done.
I actually have 31 of 56 credits. And I kind of got stumped at foundations of spiritual foundations. And that class is kind of where I've been for a while now, because I needed to figure it out before I could complete that class.
I think
And
you've got a pretty good idea.
I probably do.
I think you've got a really good idea.
I do.
If you ever, okay, now that I know exactly what that class has been stumping you, if you ever want a different perspective of what they normally would practice, shoot me the question and I'll just give you my answer. I'll give you whatever my insight is to it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because the college that I'm doing my doctorate through is Liberty University, and it's a Christian college. And that's where I get a little bit hung up because I'm a non-traditional thinker. I'm going to turn my music off. Hold on. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. My pig listens to Bach at night.
I love it. I love the pig that listens to music. It's so fun. The
Nice.
pig that listens to music is so cool.
I play Bach for my pig. Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, it's a Christian college, so I don't know if I'm going to end up completing my doctorate. And, I'm in a different place than some other people. I don't necessarily need to finish my doctorate. It's not a necessity for me, thank God. And so we'll see. We'll see where I go with that. But right now,
It'd be
yes,
nice,
I have my
it'd be a
master's
nice
degree in mental
poster to hang
health
up on the
care.
wall.
My bachelor's was in special education. And then my
Yeah.
doctorate it was supposed to be pastoral counseling, community and Christian counseling. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that.
Um,
Wow, it's all
so,
going on. It's all going on for you, Janelle. It's all going on.
yeah,
So that's
Janelle
a
is
lot going on, yeah.
qualified. When I say qualified, not just qualified to practice, a experienced practitioner like therapist. She's actually a therapist,
I am.
holistic,
I am
holistic
a
therapist.
therapist. Yes.
She doesn't just like give you the
I'm Catholic.
clinical stick and flick. Okay, move on. No, she's holistic. She looks at it from all aspects.
Perspectives, yeah,
Offers
absolutely.
so many different tools to put in your toolkit for you to be well equipped and prepared.
Yes, that's true. And you have to be, I mean, I feel like in order to heal fully, you definitely have to look at more than just the mind, right? You have to look at the mind and the heart and stomach, the body.
Yeah,
I
I
call
was
it
going to
the
say
mind,
I
heart,
feel
and
like
stomach.
mind, body, and spirit. I do feel there is a
Yeah.
much more much more. I'll use the word loosely for the time being. Is evidence. There is much more evidence through research that they're doing, and
Yeah.
it's coming up more and more and more that the people who are starting to reconnect, not with necessarily religion, but faith with themselves, having the belief
Yes.
system within
The heart.
themselves, within something, okay, within a higher greater power, energy, in the cosmos, in the universe, and they are connecting and they're having that faith, that
Yeah.
positivity. Science is now like, look, there's a thing called noetic science. Okay, noetic science is about exactly what we're talking about. It's about the energy, physics, faith, mystical, like the mystics of the human body, and what we call psychic abilities, okay? But the more and more
Right.
I've been diving
Right.
down the rabbit hole, the more I've been finding and feeling and getting the message of we are designed as human beings with everything that we are
Yeah.
that we embody. We're designed that way because we are all. I'm trying to think of the right word so I don't sound completely stupid or weird. We are all one because humans are social beings. We're social, right? We have to feel a connection with someone to feel like we are included and able to talk, communicate. Um, and to feel is not just sensory, but it's also the non-sensory, the inner feeling, because that's when
Yeah.
our
Right. Yes.
we can feel someone through empathy, which we all know does exist. That empathy is the understanding and the feeling of someone's emotions or their feelings. And it would stand to reason that we have this other side of the empathy, that or that sensory, that inner feeling, when we get that what is it called, the sympathetic nervous system, when you start to get those, when you can sense, danger is coming.
I'm going
So
to
then our
mute
instincts,
mine so I can hear.
you know what I mean? Our instincts kick into gear, and that's part of our. And so they're looking at how the sympathetic nervous system, okay, is connected to our intuition, our inner sense, clairsentience, because it's an amazing thing. We could go outside and just go. You would have heard someone say, "Smells like danger in the air today." How the fuck can you smell that, mate? But apparently they can. You know, I've walked into the old correctional facility, aka prison or jail, and I've just gone. I don't get a good feeling today. I feel like something's gonna happen, and I don't often say that. I've never often said that when I was, a CO. I didn't say that often. I've just gone. I feel like something's shit's gonna happen today. Lo and behold, huge bashing, massive. Someone ends up in hospital. You know, clenching for dear life. You can feel it. You walk in and you just feel something in the air, in the energy. You just know. And then there's other ones that walk in and they're just like, the pessimistic ones that every day is like something's in the air for them. I'm like, mate, you can say that 365 days and you're guaranteed to hit one. All right?
Right.
Well, I think that the thing too, Rams, is you can't change it. That's the beautiful thing. You can walk into maybe even a prison. I haven't done that before, but walk into a prison and sense instantly, ooh, something's not right, or this particular person is way off, way off. And you can feel, or I shouldn't say you, because everybody's individual and everybody can do different things. But I can take that feeling that that person has inside them. I can find the vulnerability and the positivity in that spot and pull that out. Like they're vulnerable to, you know, even if it's a compliment, even if you say to them, geez, you look extra handsome this morning. What's going on with you? Or make a joke with them if you were in prison, just for example.
Yeah, I was
There
going to say,
might be
I
a
don't know
heavy,
how old you
mean,
got with saying,
this is just my
good-looking.
image, right? A heavy, mean looking guy that's just cranky as fuck every single time you see him.
Yeah,
And so you know what to say to him to switch him on so that he's no longer in that spot. And that's where it's beneficial to be a therapist. If you can find their little on switch and switch on their love and switch on their compassion and their kindness and their joy and all those good things, then you're successful. And
My
then
second wife.
teaching them how to turn it on themselves.
My second wife was my therapist. I actually married my
Say again,
therapist.
Sean?
My second wife was my therapist. I married her. She was my she was
Oh,
my
I see.
shoe.
She could turn your switch on.
Well, she done something, so I ended up marrying her. But anyway, and then I couldn't be fixed. Apparently, couldn't be fixed. So that was it. Couldn't be
Needs to
fixed.
be fixed,
So
but it's
there you go.
all
The
up to
reference
you
is
within.
what does it mean if
It's
you see
within. Don't
shadow?
believe her, Sean. She wasn't your.
If you see flashes in the
I gotta
corner
put
of
my
your room?
glasses on to read these comments.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I'm going to need mine because mine already starting to get sore too, to be honest. I know. I'm wearing glass. Oh. Well, from a spiritual, mystical perspective, okay, this is only from a spiritual, mystical perspective. If you are seeing flashes of something in the corner of your room, out of the corner of your eye, it is like saying, hello, we are here. Someone pay attention, wake up. You are not going cuckoo. You are seeing something because we are making it obvious for you to see us. The energy, we are making it obvious for you to see. Wake up. What are you going to do about it? I am here. It's basically what they're saying. Wake up.
yeah.
I'm here. What are you going to do about it? They're not causing you harm. They want you to see them. They want you to acknowledge them. They want you to wake up. As in, hello, wake up with this eye, turn up with awareness. That's what they're saying to you.
Yeah, tune the radio in.
That's it.
So, tune the radio in.
From a non-mystical, I think Mel or Sean may.
Non-mystical says make sure that your brain is okay.
Yep.
If you keep having flashes of white light, you might want to go get your MRI and make sure it's fine.
There's also that as well, exactly that. Yes, this is the other thing as well. Like I say, from a spiritual to a non-spiritual side, you also have to be realistic as well. That not everything is a message. You know, if you see a feather on the floor, granted it well may be from spirit. If you see a load of feathers, the chances are it's a dead bird. Do you know what I mean? You know, so you still have to be realistic. You know? Yeah, you still have to
You
be
see a load
realistic.
of feathers, look for your cat.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. This is exactly what Steve and I were talking about just before we got in. People fall into this psychosis where everything is a sign of some greater thing. Look, there are signs in every single moment, but it's also up to us to choose to be 100% in 5D or 1 foot in each dimension, 3D, 5D. You still have to live your life here. Using discernment to know when something is a sign and synchronicity from the 5th dimension, from the energy, from the 12th dimension, from the God. And when you can just walk past it and go, it's a dead bird. You know what I mean? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody has some real life questions, like real life matters, real life situations, where you are stuck with a problem, all right, and possibly a little bit of guidance from someone who has exponential experience, knowledge, wisdom, formal, informal, all of the above, has lived life, has been through some of the most terrifying experiences for themselves, has witnessed a lot of stuff, observed, and walked the walk, not just talk the talk. They can fucking back it up too. Now is your time, okay? Janelle, like I said, 30 plus years experience in the therapy industry. She has also got approximately 6 years. It could be a little bit more. I don't want to go too above and beyond, but it could be a little bit over 6 years.
6 years.
I feel like it's 6. Military experience as well. She's been through her own adversities. I'm not going to comment on that. It's not my story. She's been through her own adversities, which a lot of people could probably relate to in their own unique way. So if you have any questions about anything at all, really, I'll be honest with you. Between the three of us here, we know everything there is to know about
Everything.
life. Everything. Like, you could ask any question you want. Ask me anything you want. Between the three of us, we know everything.
There's a few years experience, absolutely. There's a few years experience.
And if I don't know, I find out. That's what the military taught me.
If you ask me what the meaning of life is, that's not something that I know. That's something that Janelle or Sean knows. That's not the one that I know. But between us three of us, we know everything.
That's the one I asked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only one you can't
The big
ask me
beautiful
because that's
why. Letter Y.
so. But yeah, now would be an opportunity if you wanted to ask her anything. And look, if you're not comfortable asking, will I get the cancer?
Message.
Will I get the cancer all clear? Ooh, that's more of a spiritual sort of divine psychic question. Look, I'm pretty sure Janelle is quite intuitive. Okay, I will say that she is very, very intuitive, but she's also very, very logical as well. She's very good at combining the two. I would say you
Yeah.
would have to probably say to Janelle a few of the things that you've gone through and the test results and all that sort of stuff, and I reckon she would be able to come up with a pretty fucking accurate answer.
I can give a slight answer now, Osley Angel. And so Rams didn't mention that or he did mention I've been through a lot of things, and one of the things I've been through is stage 3B breast cancer, which included a double mastectomy. I went bald. I did the radiation. I did the whole cancer thing, and I'm still on a pill that'll probably be on for the rest of my year or the rest of my life, chemotherapy pill. And one of the things I can tell you is in order to heal your body, you have to heal the inside too. And you are able to heal as well as the doctors. Don't not take your medicine thinking, no, I can do this myself. You need the medicine. God sent that medicine, or your higher power sent whatever comes your way for a reason. To take your medicine, drink tons of water, try to get a lot of sunshine and out there. Do things that truly make you happy on the inside. It's hard to do things when you're sick, but do things anyway. Whether it's just go outside and pick up rocks, or whittle a stick, or do a puzzle, or watch Netflix, whatever you need to do that really truly feels good to you. Have people around you that are positive, and tell yourself every day, I'm healing, not that I'm sick. Don't tell people I'm sick with cancer. Tell them I'm healing from cancer. Your words are amazing and do amazing things. So follow your words and tell yourself every single day, I'm healing, I'm getting better. It doesn't matter what stage they tell you. It doesn't matter how many. I had 2 tumors and 6 lymph nodes. And at first it was looking a little grim. But from the get-go, my husband was here at the time, and thank God he was. And from the get-go, we said, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to fight this. We're going to do this. And so far, so good on my end. So that's what I can give you right off the surface, not knowing what kind of cancer you're dealing with. If it happens to be breast cancer, there's a huge percentage of success. Huge percentage. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of people getting over cancer nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say my mum
That's
exactly the same, had breast cancer, and she's now just literally on one little pill what she has to take, what she's probably going to have to take now till whenever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, and the thing is, it's also like you said. Obviously, I can't say much more than what you said, to be honest with you. But it's also wanting to do the will to live. That's the other thing. You can lay back and give up and say, "Fuck this, fuck that. I blame this, I blame that." But like Janelle said, it's the thought process. It's how you take it and how you look at it, and can you beat it? Fucking damn right, you can beat it. You can beat anything. You can beat anything, and people do get over things, And it depends. I was going to say there was one guy I knew, some old boy, and I'll be honest with you, he wanted to live that much, that, if this is quite gruesome in a funny sort of way, but he wanted to live that much that his body was actually fucking dying all around him and he was still alive, and I think anybody else would have just give up and gone, but it was eating him away that much, literally, and it's, like I say, so it is the will to live, and can you get over it? Damn right you can get over it. My mother was very much of that, fuck this, I ain't letting this shit beat me, I'm a fuck, so I don't want to swear, but that's how passionate I am about it, so I just, how I come across, and can you beat it? Yeah, absolutely you can, and will you? Absolutely. If not, try your fucking goddamn hardest.
Of course.
Try your hardest. And obviously, holistic therapies help, and I do believe group in numbers, and I think if you say, if you go into a room like this, and everyone say, yeah, we'll sit there and we'll do a do a prayer or something for you and just put it out there, you know, send sort of healing to you. And I think that fucking works without a shadow of a doubt. It does, and I really do believe that.
You absolutely prayer.
Remember I said that
I read
manifestation
one too here,
is one.
Monique. Yourself. Say that again, man.
I was saying, remember I said that manifestation on your own is one thing, but when everybody is like clinging together, uniting their powers and energies together, all on the same page, praying or manifesting, which is both, the same thing for that person, that power is now, say, like in a room like this, is now 27 times greater. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
That's a lot of power.
Mm. Yeah.
So I was seeing that Monique was saying, does that work with scoliosis too? It's so funny she asked that, and things happen for a reason because last time I was on here, you all prayed for me or sent positive energy to me because I recently had a back surgery, which is my fifth back surgery. And this time they put in a spinal cord stimulator because I have such terrible scoliosis. I have a S curve. I have it. If the doctors have it available and it works for you, there's nothing wrong with that, as well as healing yourself, right? That is part of healing yourself is, following up. And the spinal cord stimulator is absolutely amazing. And I happen to know, I don't know if you're in the United States or Australia, but when I was reading about it, it's more common in Australia than over here, I guess. And it's a remote, and I'm like a robot, and it works amazing. So they just added leads to my spine or my cervical, so lumbar and cervical. Amazing. And there again, I was led to it. I've had many, many, many back problems, infusions and injections and all that crap. And finally, I found something that works. So don't give up on any of it ever.
No. No, it's finding that sweet spot and everything, what works for you, because obviously we are all individual, like you say, so it is finding that whole thing that does work for you. And like I say, just, I'd like to say as well, a big word everyone uses, mind over matter. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that's a big thing as well, if you can look over it, you can sit there and dwell in pity and everything, Look at Janelle, for example. I'm going to use you as an example here, Janelle, but you could have quite easily just rolled over and, couldn't you? Just rolled over and said, "Oh, that's it, my time's done."
Many times. Many times. Many times. Over physical or emotional heartache. There's been times where I have rolled over for a couple of days and laid
Yeah,
right under my bed, under my blanket, and said, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. As soon as I turned my mind and said, of course you can do it, is when I was able to do it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that is how it is. I'm quite fortunate, to be honest with you. Like I say, I'm quite good on the empathy side of things, but I'll touch some wood around here somewhere. I know there's some wood around here somewhere, but I've not gone through a lot of the sort of physical side of things, to be honest with you. I'm relatively healthy, thank God.
Thank God.
But now we get on to mental health. That's another story. I could tell you about the demons lurking about in my brain, right? But
I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that.
So I think a lot of us are blessed with mental health, but it's just sort of just what we have to do, and it's the coping mechanism as well. It's what you have to do to make you want to do it. Like you say, will I get over it? Absolutely. If you really want to, I think you can achieve anything you want to. The only limitation is what you put on yourself, right? But there's me. I'm fantastic at giving advice. I'm shit at taking it.
It's funny that you brought up mind over matter, and you also in a sentence later you say that we put the limitations on ourselves, because that the whole putting limitations on ourselves. Hey, Cuzzy, love you too. actually it's contrary to mind over matter. And when we understand that spiritual wisdom of what mind over matter means, like not what mind over matter means when it comes to going, oh, I'm going to go on that 10-meter diving platform and I'm going to go for a jump. And then, you know, you get up there and you're like, oh, geez, that's really high. Mind over matter. You work yourself into this mindset of going, professional divers do this all the time. They do flips, they do twists. And all. I literally just want to jump off feet first. They never, ever come out of it going, oh, I'm dead. They go, splash, and they come out and they're like, round two, you're going feet first. Yes, it is high, but you will be okay. Mind over matter says, you're going to be okay. It just takes a little bit of coming around to it. But then we talk about the real deal stuff, the heavy stuff, like the whole cancer topic, mind over matter. I can tell you, a very good friend of mine who I was doing, this is years and years ago, all right? I'm talking like before we even had my first child, my daughter. So we're going 18 years, all right? We're going 18 years. He told me the story of his father who had been diagnosed with cancer. They gave him, I think it was 6 months comfortably, but no more than 12. 3 weeks later, he died because in his mind, he had already given up. Mind over matter.
Oh,
Yeah, same with my mother-in-law as well. A couple of years ago, yeah. So she literally got diagnosed. They said probably December. They said December. She went home, and yeah, literally 3 days later she was gone. Literally, but she just gave up the will to live. Literally like that. Put herself in bed, and that was where she stayed. Didn't want to do, you know.
Told me at my wedding in 2003, the doctors told him he hasn't got long, probably 12 months. That man haunted me for the next 17 years.
good,
I thought he was going
good.
to outlive me. So mind over matter, because he had such a thirst for life. Okay. Yes, he had his demons because he had open heart surgery, and that is biologically and spiritually connected to the change in your mental state. It's been tested. Like they've done a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's cross-sectional research, you know, like through surveys and
Right, and
question and
brain
answer.
mapping as well.
Yeah, they've done a lot
Some
of
brain mapping.
research on people who have gone into open heart surgery. Unfortunately, my father was one of the unlucky ones. I don't know if they use it anymore, but do you remember the adrenaline shot that they give people after open heart surgery? It was called Hemasil.
No.
So when they come out of the open heart surgery,
I
they
know
used to give a lot
epinephrine.
of. It's kind of like an epinephrine. This one's called Hemasil, all right? And only 1% of a population of open heart surgery recipients are allergic to it, like anaphylactic. And they said, chances are you'll be fine. My dad was in that 1%, and he literally like carked it for, I think he said 15 to 30 minutes. Something like that. It was something ridiculous.
Oh,
All right. Hey, Firecracker. Take care, Dale. Sorry, I didn't even see you come in. Yeah, all right. So when he came back, he was a little bit different, but he still had a thirst for life. He still made the very best of it. And he understood what mind over matter was. He gave everything he could. You know, I've also seen my children's mother, like when we were together, she had stage 3 bowel cancer, and just being as a spectator is hard to observe someone you love go through it, but you've got to be as positive as possible. And I was so positive. I was looking for all of these non-toxic remedies, not cures. It's not about a cure. It's remedies, things that are therapeutic, that will take away the pain, that could actually combat it, and all these different things. And that's just being a spectator. Being in the hot seat, watching her stay strong, stay mentally strong, and knowing that I'm going to be fine. I know it's going to suck during this process for the next 6 months, but I'm going to be okay. Like, there was no maybes. It was
Right.
badass, like,
Right.
pedal to the metal, balls to the wall. I am going to be okay. And I was like, bravo, like, good on you.
Yeah.
It was hard because I was watching her go through the chemo, and it was killing me seeing her go through that, let alone what she was feeling go through it, but just watching it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for everything to take away that pain, to do, like, just to make that life easier. So I can't begin to imagine what it would have been like to sit in the hot seat and physically go through it yourself. You know what I mean? I can't. I've been in pain, but that's a whole different ballgame. Being in that hot seat,
It's not easy.
you're the one in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul, I've got to jump down to. Hey, you're right, bro. All good, man. Love you. Take care, brother.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's a
bye,
different,
Sean.
and it does play on both sides mentally. So this is where I'm saying to people, you don't always have to be in the driver's seat to feel the effects. And you may be a spectator, you may be having someone that's going through something, and you're very aware that it's heavy for them. They're very aware that it's heavy for them. But is anyone actually paying attention to you having to deal with it? Like, Janelle knows what it was like. Now that she's opened up about what happened, Janelle knows full well what it was like for herself, sitting in that hot seat, doing the hot lap in the NASCAR when it came to life and death sort of stuff, but she remained positive, right?
I did.
How many people actually paid attention other than you? Because I know that you would have. I know, because you're a compassionate person. You would have said, don't worry about me, sweetheart. How are you doing? Because you're doing everything at the moment, because I can't do anything. How many people asked how
So
Danny
I
was
feel
doing?
sometimes like my relationship with Danny was a little bit different than any other relationship I've ever had. So it almost felt as if we were one in this whole thing. It
Yeah,
almost felt as if Danny was fighting cancer with me. We were
yeah,
so close and tight already, never mind during the process, that I knew how Danny was doing the whole time. Sometimes I feel like my breast cancer was harder on Danny than myself because he didn't have as much faith in the fact that I was going to get through it than I did. He had a huge amount of fear he was going to lose me, which is kind of
yeah,
ironic that he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, he was worried for an entire year that he was going to lose me. He was so worried about it. I tell him, no, we got
yeah.
this. We got this. When one of my medications was bright red chemo. One of the chemos, bright red, and a lot
Yeah.
of people refer to it as the red devil. It's called
The red, yeah,
agromycin. And I remember when the nurse said that some people refer to it as red devil, and I looked right at my husband when they said it, and I said, Danny, we're going to call it the blood of Christ. We're not going to call it the red devil because it's
yep,
healing me. It's not, it's not toxic
yeah,
for me. It's medication for me. And I think just those kind of thinking. And we did. We prayed. And I believe in the Trinity, and I believe in many other things, Mother
yeah,
Nature and energy work. I allow myself to believe in all that is good. And so
yeah,
in that process, we pray over that medication and, do things that work for you. And I'm giving this advice to anybody out there fighting anything. Do what works for you. Find what works for you that you know is good. And I think that's where you'll have true faith and true trust in whatever you're doing. If it's, what you believe in. If that makes sense.
exactly. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, when I keep what I've been saying for the last, I don't know, however long now, mainly, I'll say at least over the last 3 weeks, because this is when I've gone through for just my personal self, like my personal story, okay, like condensed. I've gone through a massive change, like a leveling up of sorts, and the freakiest things that have happened to me in those 3 weeks, and that what started it was the connection I had between myself, my partner, and the divine. Okay, and it was literally how it was. It was the connection that I had between me, my partner, who was sitting right here. Okay, and it was totally PG-13. All right, it wasn't anything R18. We were sharing a moment of exchanging energy through touch here and here. That's all it was. We were exchanging our love through touch, from hand to heart to crown, third eye combination. And we both had this amazing connection to the divine. And I was having a full-blown conversation, but in here, well, not through my words. In here, I could hear the voice. I could hear the voice. And I know
Beautiful.
there will be people who will go, okay, now he's lost it. All right, yeah, he's a crackpot. But that's your feelings, and I will never take that away from you. That you're entitled to that. But I have absolute faith in what I heard, because some of the stuff that I was asking about was in no connection to me. I was asking about how to help one particular person who is important to me, which I still don't fully understand, like in absolute detail and knowing, but I have faith in it. And ever since then, I keep going down this path of restoring my faith and understanding that the faith that I had in myself was absolute. I have absolute faith in me, with what I am able to do for anyone and everyone. But my subconscious was not bringing forward the message, and the connection to the faith in me is having the same faith up there. Okay, well, for the conversation, I'll just say up there, right? It's everywhere, but it's up there. The OG, the big G, all right? Same faith.
Right. The man with the plan.
The man with the plan, right? Because if I have that faith in me, I am a drop from the little drip, okay, out of the big, beautiful ocean of the energy that I was born from. So it's like I'm the divine, and I'm like, I'm going to make Ramsey drip. I'm going to make Janelle drip. I'm going to make Wally Yolly drip. That's how I see it now. That's how I see it. We are all a droplet of the energy. That's what the soul is. We are a drop. Okay, so not Ramsey the physical. I'm talking about the spirit that lives inside me, that is using this vessel to live the experience of life here on this plane, this earth. And ever since that day,
And I think it's important that, yeah, I think it's important too to remember that each one of those drops of energy, of person or of whatever in the field, is going to be completely different than the next.
Completely different.
And I think that's sometimes where I struggle. I want to be like you, Rams, or I want to be like so and so. I want to be able to do what they do, and then to be able to recognize that that's not what my talent is. And it even says it in the book, or whatever you believe, that we all have different talents. Clearly, you and I are different. We have different hair, we have different lips, we have different noses. We're different on the outside. So why is it so hard to accept that your interior is completely different. Mine is completely different than yours. And I'm going to receive my messages differently, and I'm going to be able to feel things different than you. And my perspective and experience is 100% different than you. And so, therefore, the way that I do things is going to only be my way, and trusting my way and knowing that that way is the way that I'm supposed to go is the hot where sometimes I get hung up. I get hung up on that. What works for me and what am I? I am an educated, and I've been healing for 20 years, healing people. But to say I'm a healer, I always pictured that I would lay my hands on somebody and say, "Be gone in Jesus' name, hallelujah," and they'd pass out and they'd be healed. That's not how I work.
Christ compels you.
That's not how
Leave
I
this
work at
body.
all. No. But if I want somebody to feel better, I definitely can help them feel better very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Um, here's a bit of scientific statistics for you people, you beautiful people. This is how I know that we are all capable of doing the same thing, but in different ways. Like there's a uniqueness about what we are able to do in its delivery. All right. So intuition, everyone's got it. The divine connection to energy, you're born with it. Whether you think so or not, you're born with it. Your soul says you are born with it because you have the energy. You're made from energy. Your soul is energy. It comes from the divine. You're connected, right? Why is it that every kid, every child is able to do things that is classed as psychic, but then stops? Because it's us as parents. We crush it. We stop it. I don't.
Yeah,
Because I want my kids to just be themselves, right?
I don't.
The human body, okay, the human DNA, the body, the structure, the biological framework, we are separated by, don't quote me on the exact number, but I'm pretty sure we are separated by 0.002%. As in each person. I'm pretty sure it's 0.002%. That is how different we are from each other.
Interesting. 0.002% is what percent matter we are, isn't it?
It's ridiculous because we are different from primates. I think it's by 0.0 something percent, right? From primates.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. But then humans, as in Homo sapien, the difference between us is like 0.002. I'm pretty sure it's something really like minute, really small.
Tiny. Yeah.
But that small percentage is enough to give us our unique features that separate us, that identify us as individual and unique. Our blood types, our fingerprints, facial features, hair color, all of the things, that is what makes us so unique. But then you have to look at the rest of it that is identical, because they're saying that this other percentage, the 99.9% is identical to each other, the 8 billion people that are on the planet. So why am I any different from the person sitting next to me in the box? The only thing different is that 0.002%. And that's obvious features. That's physical attributes like heart size, kidney shape, size, you know what I mean? Blood flow, things like that. Evolution, that's right, evolution on a macro scale has leveled up. You know what I mean?
I kind of feel like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I kind of feel like, and I've pictured this for a very, very long time, like a human body as with the big all, like we are all part of one big collective all is what I'm going to use the words. I don't know if
Yeah,
those are the right words.
yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'll always work on my throat chakra because I never feel like I have the right words. But anyway, I always picture like one cell of the body. Like if I were one cell of the body, my job would be very different than your one cell, right? So maybe you're a cell in, I'm going to use God very, very vaguely,
Yeah,
in God's body. Maybe you're a cell in God's eye, and your job is to produce the twinkle. Let's just say that, just because you're such a wonderful man. You would be the one cell that produces the twinkle in God's eye, right? And maybe I'm the one cell that lives right straight in his heart. I live right
yeah,
in his heart and I help pump the blood in his heart. We're still
yeah,
cells and we'll still look the same under the microscope, but we
yeah.
have completely different jobs. That's what I'm saying
Exactly.
about each of us being an individual of a whole part.
Absolutely.
We each have our own little
Absolutely.
talents and they're all necessary in order to make the whole thing work.
Yeah,
I'm going to get
absolutely.
some coffee, so I'm going to put this on mute so you don't have to listen to my coffee maker.
No, you're right, love. All good. No, I agree. I agree. And this is where it comes back to the there are certain principles. It was in my last subject that there are, was it three or four? Four main dynamics that contribute to the positive thinking and the mental well-being of the human psyche. And I can't remember exactly what they were, but I remember one of them very, very well. And the most important one that people struggle with is purpose. When we as humans get to a certain age, like as in adult age, we start to look for our purpose. What is our purpose in life? And there are some people who find it early. There are some people who find it a little bit later. And then unfortunately, there are some people who just never actually find it or stumble across it or whatever. Everybody has to feel like they have a purpose in life and they are doing their purpose. It gives them a sense of purpose, to have a purpose. It gives them a reason to wake up. It's the drive, not kind of like the Freudian sort of perspective, the will to wake up, to the motivation, but life is not always, unfortunately, Josh, that life is not always going to be the purpose that's going to give someone the drive. Yes, life is somewhat of a purpose, but the purpose of giving, doing, helping, contributing, it's the contributional purpose. What's my contribution here? That's where people get stuck. They want to make a mark on something. They want to make a mark on their life. They want to leave a legacy of some kind. They want to make a name, like whether it was like someone wants to have, rest in peace, Ramsey. He was a great soul. He helped a lot of people and he was a funny bugger. You know what I mean? That's my purpose. To make people laugh, to make people feel whole, to make people feel healed. To help them find their way. That would be my purpose. So that my tombstone could say that I helped people, that I loved people, that I made them laugh. That is why purpose is so important. You don't want to be remembered as the person who was Zatara, the driftwood, the one that just sort of floated on the ocean with nothing to do. No purpose in life, no contribution. And it's not I don't care if someone doesn't contribute. That's not my problem. I couldn't care. I've got other things to do. But it's the self.
And this is the and this is where Janelle will know probably more than what I will, because I'm only just starting to delve into the finer details of the self. This has puzzled psychologists and other mind clinicians. Okay, the self is a unique thing. The identification of the self. What is it? Is it subjective? Is it objective? Do we look at it both ways? Because the subjective version of the self means I. The objective version of the self means me. You know what I mean? I want to help me. You've just had the subjective and the objective in the same sentence. I want to help me. I need to look after me. This is where the self, the identification of the self is, it's unique. And we start going, what do I need to do to find the purpose in my life?
Right. Yeah.
It is just so important that we start to, at least this is how I found it. It was so important that I had to do some work in understanding the me. I had to understand the me.
Well, and I think that's important.
Yeah, and not look at
I
it from
think
the
people
I, but
are
look at it from
raised in a certain way.
yeah,
Right. I think you're raised in a certain way, and it's normal that you are raised the way that your parents or whoever raised you taught you to be, right? And then you get confused as you get older and older and older. Like you said, when you're a child, you know who you are, you know. And if
yeah,
anybody can go back to that age when you were clear and pure, and if it's in a dream or if it's in a meditative state, if you could go back to that child age and thinking, would really benefit you because you've been almost in a way kind of brainwashed by your parents and your society, culture, wherever you're from, whatever experiences you've had. If you've had terrible experiences, um, it's sometimes when you find the me is when you are in those terrible experiences, actually, when you can't rely on the stuff that makes sense, the stuff that you were taught, or, not exactly, I hate to use the word brainwash because your parents would never intentionally
conditioning.
brainwash
It's
you,
just
but
conditioning.
that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
conditioning. We're
And so
conditioned
once
to.
you can
It's
get away
cultural
from when you
conditioning.
can strip all of that, everything you've known, and, you know, kind of start over rebuilding or looking at what really matters to me and the people around me. And maybe it's not even the people around you. Maybe it's something else. In my world, my first question was, what now? What now was my question after my husband died. That was kind of my spot where I'm like, okay, I've been this and I've been that. I've been in the military and I've been a school teacher and I've been a mother and raised my children and I am a business owner and I've run my business since '06 very successfully from the heart, right? And now all
Yep.
of a sudden I'm like, okay, now I'm in another spot. And this happens throughout your whole life, right? You're going to have huge transitions. And at some point, it is very beneficial to say, okay, but who am I? And what am I doing? What am I doing?
And what do I want to do? If you can get to that
And what
point,
do I
what
want
do I
to
want
do?
to do? Yeah.
Right. Right.
Like Sean said,
But you can see, yeah. To be able to challenge some of your beliefs and some of the things you've been taught is huge because they might not be as they appear once you challenge them.
nope. I had to.
And I guess that's what shadow work, some of the terminology used in the psychic world, I've already been using in the mental health world when they say shadow work. That's what you do as a therapist. You help people look at those areas that were really, really painful and that cause blocks in your thinking, blocks in your actions, in your security, your level of security or level of joy.
Yeah.
Those are all what you guys refer to. I'm saying you guys, I'm putting you in a box for
No,
just
no,
one
no.
second,
Yeah, no, I
as
understand.
shadow work. You know,
Yeah. No, no, I
it's a good
understand.
word. It's a good term.
Yeah. Um, and the term shadow work, it's actually very, very simple. It's referring to the side of yourself that is not in the open daylight. It's on the shadow side
Right.
of the moon, the shadow side of yourself that the sun doesn't touch, the daylight doesn't see, so it's hidden away. It's the darker side. It's the one that you don't generally have other people see. Only you really get to see it. So how do you deal with trauma? Is that a direct question, like as in how do I or how does Janelle deal with trauma, or is that a general question, is like how do you deal with trauma? Because everyone's methodology is different. How I dealt with the trauma
Right.
is okay. How I deal with the trauma is basically what my book that I'm in the process of writing. I've actually started writing my own book. I'm writing about myself. I'm writing about the adversities, like overcoming the adversities, how I tackled it, and it's going to be named exactly what I'm about to tell you. Ask yourself why. Okay, it's going to be called asking asking the question why is the most important question that you will ever ask. The question why is literally the most important question that you will ever need to ask. Why for anything? Why did that happen? Why did it affect me? Why do I need to learn from it? Why do I need to let it go? All right. When you can understand
Well,
the answer from the why, that's where you move forward. You've got to be able to understand the reason why. You have to ask the questions to certain people too, because you might not be able to get the answer from always just within. You might not remember, but someone will remember. Someone will know.
yeah. And I think trauma is the word trauma has been overused in the last few years.
Yep.
Um, Bad things happen to everybody. Horrible ass, nasty, bad, bad, bad stuff.
Yep.
And that part of the why, you might not ever get the answer on
Correct.
why those bad things. And that's where the faith comes in. And I don't know, I'm not saying everyone has to have the same kind of faith as me. That's where I went with the differences too.
Yeah.
I might believe a certain thing, but I think the key is believing in that there is someone greater than you, a higher power, whether that be God or whatever, and really allowing yourself during times of trauma to
Yeah.
have grace and to take it slow and to hand over some of it to that higher power and the people around you, like Ram said, talking to other people and not trying to hold it or process some stuff that's so big and
Yeah.
so awful and that your emotions aren't even going to allow you to process it for a
Yeah.
while. And I have been listening to Rams for over 2 years, and the last year of it, I was processing trauma for 6 months at least. And I'd sit here quietly in the back, just like you guys are at the bottom, listening and listening and listening. And in the meantime, processing other things and reading other things. And, it takes time. When you have a serious trauma, give yourself grace, take time, and do what you need to do to start healing from it and ask others to help you, including your higher power.
I'll let you in on a secret if you want. It's not a really big deal. So my traumas spread out from a few months old, where I felt like it was a dream. I know that people will go, bullshit, you can't remember anything from when you're a few months old. Well, apparently I do. Okay? Apparently I do. I asked a question one time and no one has ever told me the story, but I asked a question and I was not a year old. I remember being tossed, like as in thrown, onto a bed. And I asked my mother about it and she was shocked because she said, how do you know about that? And I said, I don't know, I just remember the feeling of falling and landing on a bed, but I was very, very young. I don't know why I remember it. And she told me the story behind it, and that was traumatic because I was a baby. And then I remember watching my mother being pushed down a set of stairs in the house, which are roughly about 10 stairs, maybe 12, the ones that go up, landing, and then up again. And I was under 2 years old, and I remember that. And I remember her falling down and nearly landing on me, and she was out cold. So that was a traumatic experience for me. Not saying that it was a physical trauma, but the trauma of witnessing, my own mother have that happen. And the lead up to it was all a lot. But throughout my life, I've seen, observed things happen around me, which actually involved me. And then I've had things happen directly to me. And I wasn't really dealing with it because I thought to myself, what's the point? It's not going to change the outcome. But I should have back then. I should have actually said to someone, I'm not really coping with all of the stuff that I've dealt with, or that I've been experiencing and that I've been seeing and having happen, and the feelings. I wasn't an angry kid, but I was definitely probably what you would consider, I think they call this over in the States, a powder keg. I was a ticking time bomb. Powder keg, I was a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
I was going to explode. And my only outlet was sports and a hell of a lot of martial arts. It just gave me the discipline. That was my outlet, but I still wasn't dealing with the problem, and that was the traumatic experiences. Very they were heavy, like domestic violence, that. And then, so not only witnessing it, but then later being the victim of it. I know that people will be like, really, a big burly bloke like you? I don't hit women. I've never ever done it. As far as my partners, sibling fights, too bad. All bets are off. That's sibling stuff. We're kids. But I'm talking about as a grown man, I will never ever lay a hand on a woman. And it was stupid to even put myself in the position of allowing myself to be the victim of it. But it happens. It does. But the alternative to that is, if I was to blow a gasket, because of my size, because of my skills, because of my strength, I could do a lot of damage, and I don't want to be that person. Nobody really wants to be that person. You're not a big tough guy for hitting a little female, you know what I mean? And that's my mindset. I'm not that guy. So I should have dealt with it, but it wasn't until I was 37 when I lost my father. There's always, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the triggers, the catalyst and the flashpoint. There's things called catalysts and flashpoints. Okay. Analysts use them when it comes to counterterrorism, stuff like that. There's things called catalysts and flashpoints, right? And the flashpoint was my father getting very ill and then passing. That was the flashpoint for me, where I started to go down this, it started off as a very, very slippery, spirally slope to self-destructive mode. because I didn't know any better. No one had actually taught me any better. No one had ever mentioned it, so I didn't know what it was. And if you don't know what it is, then you don't know any better. Because if you have a look at yourself, unless you've been taught what self-destructive behaviors are or erroneous zones for other people, you're going to do what you observe. You're going to be what you see. And if you see self-destructive
Yeah.
behavior, you're going to be that. And most of the people, unless they've been shown, they're riddled with it. Riddled with it. Oh, do I look nice in this? Why are you asking me? Do you feel nice in that? It's not, it doesn't matter if I think you look nice. If you feel nice, if you feel pretty, if you feel gorgeous, if you feel whatever, that's what matters. My opinion is secondary. Your opinion is primary. You're the one that has to wear it. You're the one that has to feel comfortable in it. Just because I say, oh, no, I don't like those jeans, I like these ones better, but you don't feel comfortable wearing them, well, then what's the point? You are the one that has to feel comfortable. You're the one that has to appreciate who you are first. Everyone outside of that is secondary.
Right. And I think that the childhood, a lot of kids, and it sounds like maybe you, were never given any other tools. They were in survival mode for years, especially in like domestic assault or abuse situations or neglect or foster care, things like that. It's a constant survival mode. You never have time. You can't possibly process that trauma because it takes time and it takes quietness and it takes looking within. And you don't got time for any of that. You're trying to survive. You're literally trying to survive.
Yeah.
And so once you are able to get to a point, to walk through that trauma hopefully with your higher spirit or with somebody that you love and trust, and that's where therapy comes in, right? Or, even people can do it on their own, but walking through your trauma with healthy tools and a different vision. Oh, now I'm an adult and I can see where my mother was at. My mother was a 20-year-old scared woman with 3 children or whatever, And so I think it really is important to do that shadow work, to look back and say, did I process that? And when I did process it, did I process it right? Or was it warped? Was it tainted by my experiences or the people around me? And I think that's huge. And I think that's a lot to do with healing. For some people, writing it down, for some people, speaking it, and for some people, reenacting it in a better way, like going through that same whatever it is, but having a different outcome can be healing.
Yep, exactly. And the whole, speaking to a therapist or that, it's funny because when you said even doing it alone, it was not until I was alone that it all started to really, really happen. It all started to really, really happen where I started to, so the self-destructive behaviors, I started to steer away from them. I started to break away from those self-destructive behaviors, healthy behaviors, healthy habits, all of those things, focus more on being positive. And it's when I broke away from people who really did not have my best interest at heart. I had to take control of that. So I no longer sought out approval. I was no longer seeking out validation, nothing like that. I was validating myself. I was justifying myself. I was being whatever I needed to be for me.
Right.
See how we got the subjective and the objective? I was being whatever I needed to be for me. And that's what I keep trying to express is be what you want to be for you. Love you for you. Be the happiest, healthiest, whatever it is that you need to be for you. Because when you are at your happiest and your healthiest and your most joyful, it has that effect on others. And if you've got like dependents that really need you and look up to you because they're dependents. So yes, they do need you. That's why they're still called dependents, because they're children. They don't know any better. You are their parent until you are no longer required when they're an adult. You go to being their friend and their guide. You are yes, they're technically your parent, okay? But your parents will eventually be your guide. They will guide you through the older stages of your life. So they will depend on you to be a good role model. And if you're happy, it'll flow over to them and they'll be happy because they'll see a bright, happy, joyous, fun, okay, because kids want fun, parent. That's what it's about. That's why it's so important. That's why we say use the whole the oxygen mask theory on the plane. They say put the mask on yourself first and then put it on the person next to you, because if you put it on them first, you're done. You've got no air. You can't help anyone. You've got nothing left. Help yourself first and then help others. Fill your cup first and then start pouring into others. That's why it's so important to do the I need to do this for me, and then I'll be able to help you. But yeah.
And being able to know those and being able to know those, boundaries for yourself kind of is the hard part. It really is. And that's, really, you're not going to be perfect and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to do things for other people, not for yourself. And you're going to do that. It's just human nature to, not do things perfectly. We are not perfect. We were not made perfect. And,
No.
I think really having that grace with yourself and saying, you know what, I'm trying my best today, this moment, and I can only do as much as I have information on, I can only do as much as I know. And so that's okay. And just learn more and
It's so
trust what you do know.
it's so what's the word? The timing of what you said is just so profound, really, because I was only just reading it, I think, either yesterday or this morning. I'm confused because I'm doing so much at the moment, like with, different facets of my life. The study, everything. The study is really like jumbling things up. But when you said we are not perfect, this is the pressure that people put on themselves. This is the pressure that parents put on kids. This is the parents that society puts on people in general. This is the pressure that everybody feels from everything outside of themselves, not to mention the pressure that people put on themselves.
Put on yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. We are only as good as what we can be. Okay. If you strive to be better, then that's okay. Strive to be better. Work towards it. Have it as a goal, but don't beat yourself down if you don't meet that goal straight away. Eventually you will get there. The only thing that you can guarantee that is perfect, and I say this for the purpose of this conversation, and so people will understand it, is the divine. That is the only thing that is perfect, because it doesn't make mistakes. There are no mistakes when it comes to energy, universal creator, and God's will, and the path, and the purpose in life. There is no mistakes. We are the ones that make mistakes, but that's a lesson for us. That's a lesson for us to be better, because we're always working and we're always striving towards that type of what we perceive as perfection. But we'll never be.
And then on the other hand, Ramsey, we are perfectly made. We are perfect. Even though we strive to be perfect, we are perfect. We are perfectly made perfectly by our higher power to do exactly what we're doing at the exact moment that we're doing it.
With all of
so besides the fact that we feel like we're not perfect, we need to remind ourselves that we are perfect. What we are doing that we think might be imperfect is actually exactly what we're supposed to be doing at that moment, because that's what the Creator wants. He wants us to do exactly what we're doing every moment.
That's right. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to grow.
So by the time you think you're not perfect, remember, you're made perfectly.
You're made perfectly. You are made perfectly.
You made her.
The choice of free will, and like choice and free will, that's it's not an imperfection. It's what gives us the ability to have a different experience to anyone else. That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
That's what gives us the ability to have that unique experience to somebody else. Just because Janelle likes to go skydiving doesn't mean I'm going to. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Just because she wants to do one thing doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Just because my partner says, "Oh, I like to eat pad see ew with this," doesn't mean I want to eat pad see ew. You know what I mean? It's our choice. We get to choose what we want. We get to choose what we desire. We get to make the choices. And I always go with my gut feeling. Like I said, I've gone through a massive, massive transition in the last we're coming up to 4 years now. All right. We're coming up to 4 years since my father, crossed over, to the other side, the spirit side. And, a lot has changed, and it forced me to sit in my silence and start to trust myself more. Hey, Kylie. And listen to my instincts more, listen to my intuition more, connect with myself, which is also connecting with the divine spirit energy, God, and feel, right? Mostly feel my way through life, because that's what I'm doing, is I'm feeling, right? I'm feeling it in here, but I'm also paying attention and observing up here and here.
Here.
All right. So I'm observing and paying attention up here. My awareness is heightened up here because I'm using this to connect to this, where the instinct, that gut feeling that you get, I'm using it to connect to here. And I'm feeling my way through life, trying to make intuitive decisions, because I've always believed that my instincts were right all through my life, not just since my father passed. All through my life, I've always felt that my instincts were always right, because I've always known what I am since I was a kid. I've always known about it. I just didn't want anything to do with it. But now I have no choice. Now I literally have no choice. There is a contract. I have an actual contract that I made. I made this contract for the greater good of somebody else. But I did that because I love them. So I have to choose intuitively. And so far, it's working. So far, it's working.
So good.
Doesn't mean that I'm not going to go through struggles. It's still part of it. I accept those struggles because I'm aware that they're going to happen. I'm aware that I'm like, you know what? It's probably going to be a bit tough, but it's going to be worth it. It'll be worth it at the end. So,
Mand asked a question about, what about when people die young? Let me read it again. Let me get my glasses. Bear with me 1 second.
the value of life, they went too young to be.
Where did it go? What about people who die young? What is their purpose? And that is so heart. Instantly, I felt a heartache when you typed that, man, because I can't answer those kind of questions. And it's really, nobody can answer why someone would die young, or why someone, my husband, he died by, he was struck by a deer on his motorcycle. He missed the first deer, and a second deer popped out of the ditch and hit him. He hit his motorcycle, and that's how he passed. And I spent plenty of time, and I still do sometimes. Why? It doesn't make any sense. Why? He was here for me through my stuff, and and with children, I think it's even harder when you lose a child, or when a child dies, a young person, or even a child in heart, a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 50-year-old. Some of them are still children in their hearts, and I don't understand and I'll never understand why. And you can ask that question all day, but when you're trying to heal yourself, it's not a very helpful question. Instead, it's what can I learn from this, or how can I move forward? How can I keep that feeling of that child with me? Maybe what did that child teach me, or young person? But I don't really know. I think having faith in the divine or the higher power is the only way to get through the tragedy of loss of a young person, because I don't feel like there's going to be an acceptable reason that you'll be able to accept. Go ahead, Rams. I'm calling on Ramsey in the front
Okay.
row.
So, man, this might not be the answer that you want. Okay. This might not be the answer that you want. And Janelle is right. Okay. Sometimes you may never ever get to know the answer. Like, again, some of the questions, someone said, what if the person that you need to ask the question to has passed? I am literally sitting in that. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone has passed and there's a question that I need to ask, and I will never ever get the verbal, physical world answer. I've asked that person on the other side. I got my answer, but I'm okay with it. It is what it is. Okay. Now, what if that person's passed? That's fine. The question is, what is their purpose? If they are young and they've passed, what if their purpose is not necessarily about what they have done or achieved? What if their purpose was involved in their passing? What if their purpose was to teach somebody else who is still living in this plane something very valuable from their passing? What if their purpose, and I'll give you an example, and I won't go into detail because it is a very, very sensitive subject, all right, when you get the details, but I'll skim over just the basic gist of it. What if there is a child that is born that has a very unique condition at birth where it is missing 4 major chromosomes in its makeup, in its biological makeup? It is not going to survive more than a few days, let alone a few hours. What's its purpose? What could a 6-hour-old baby have to offer and contribute as a purpose and a legacy in life? Fast forward 14 to 16 years, they are doing studies on a fetus or a baby that has exactly the same thing, possibly even that same one, all right? They come up with a diagnosis. They come up with so much research in ways of identifying this particular genetic. I don't like the word defect, but we're going to use the word defect, right? The genetic defect, the breakdown in the splitting of the chromosomes and all that sort of stuff, and the connecting of the chromosomes from both sides, 23 and 23. Something happens in the is it called meiosis? I think is it meiosis? I don't know.
Mitosis,
mitosis, something like that. All right, something happens, and they are able to identify it whilst it is still under the 12-week or 10-week
like amniocentesis. Yes.
Yeah, in that first trimester, they're still able to identify it, so that at least the parents, mainly the mother, okay, because she's the one that has to carry this child to term, knowing or unknowing, if she doesn't find out, a baby that's never going to survive. Now imagine the trauma of having to know that you're going to carry this child for up to 40 weeks and it's only going to survive 6 hours or maybe like a day. Whereas if she is, and I'm not to sound heartless, but I'm saying this, she's only felt this little embryo fetus for, a couple of months, Yes, she's developing an attachment to it because it is a part of her. Okay. She hasn't developed the 40-week attachment and then gotten to witness and observe and love and hold this baby after the 40 weeks. The trauma that is done by an 8-week embryo and fetus compared to the trauma that is done by 40 weeks of love and nourishing and holding after it's born, I'm sorry, but I think that there is a massive difference. And this baby has just saved a whole lot of trauma to future parents and potential deaths after birth. They are able to identify it so that it doesn't happen, or maybe they can find some way of fixing it through science, because science is created to help. Okay, science is created to help. Some may refuse that, they may disbelieve that, but there are plenty who do believe that, right? But if they can identify that, the trauma from 8 weeks of like conception compared to 40 weeks and then a birth, whew. I personally, who cannot have kids because I'm firstly a male, I don't get to share that bond like a mother does. I couldn't begin to understand it. I couldn't begin to fathom how heartbreaking it would be as a mother, only from a father's perspective, only from the man. Again, spectator. Okay? Now look at it. Be the mother. Put yourself in their shoes. Try and feel. You can't unless you are a female or a mother. You cannot possibly comprehend the amount of pain, emotional pain that they would go through, knowing that they have done that for nothing. They don't even get to enjoy watching their baby grow. 6 hours. That's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. Sometimes for some people in their mind, because it's a mental thing, there's no coming back from that. For a lot of people, there's no coming back from that. And the ones that do, it's Mount Everest to them. It's literally Mount Everest. Imagine not having to go through that amount of torture, mental and emotional torture. So this is a true story. Okay. I'm telling you right now, this is a true story. That happened about 15 or so years ago. And then there was a thing that came up that they had come up with research. They'd come up with a diagnosis. They've called it something. They have a name for it. Okay. They have a name for what it is. I don't know what it is, but I just remember looking it up because I was with a friend. And maybe that is the legacy and that is the purpose of the little soul that passed away oh so young. I'm just saying, sometimes the reasons why are not always going to be in your face right there at that moment, but they will present themselves much later on.
And I think too, I mean, I don't know, everybody has different beliefs, but I do believe that you do write your own story and that you may live many other lifetimes with the same people. And so maybe for this particular lifetime, I think about that like with my husband, you know, maybe he wrote in his book, you know what, this 10-year stretch is going to be very hard on Janelle. I'm going to be there for her, but I can only be there 10 years. Who knows why? Who knows, you know what? So that she can learn to be here today, right now, maybe. I don't know. But to have that faith in something bigger, that there is purpose behind even that time, if that makes any sense. Those 6 hours that I am here for that there is the purpose for those 6 hours, like you said, to find to help many, many other mothers of that trauma, or, in my case, to help me through my cancer journey or my kids graduate, whatever reasons. There's so many reasons why that it could be instead of shouldn't have been. And I guess that's the thing. We get in this mind frame and we're raised in our society to think that's not fair. That shouldn't be. That isn't how it's supposed to be, you know, and that's
Yeah.
dangerous when we're taught that. When we're taught that things aren't fair and that that's a bad thing isn't very helpful.
No.
When we're taught that things aren't fair and it's a good thing, it's okay that you didn't get first place in that contest. It's okay that you got eighth place because it made you work harder. That kid that got straight A's through school is now doing meth on the corner because everything was handed to him because he was so smart. And you worked hard to get on the A honor roll, and now you got through college, and now you are successful.
Yeah.
You know, you can't know why things happen completely.
You said it so well that there's always a reason, and sometimes the shittest reasons, or what we perceive to be the shit reasons, aren't actually shit reasons.
Right.
One of the basic principles is that the universe does not know fairness. All right, it doesn't know fairness. The universe, God does not actually know what fairness is. He knows, God itself knows what balance is. It does what it needs to maintain balance in all of the universe. It will take and give where it is required. There is no such thing as fairness. Fairness is a human-made construct. And we get taught that, oh, that's not fair. Let's give this kid the participation award because they're going to feel left out because it's not really a fair system. Tough shit. That's actually tough shit. Tell them, you know
He
what?
needs to learn disappointment.
Work harder, okay, and win next time. Don't
Yeah.
complain about it now. Work harder, okay? I'm not saying you can't do it, kiddo. I'm saying you can if you put more grey matter to it and you try harder and you work harder and you practice. If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best because they didn't get it handed to them. They worked harder, all right? And yes, there are anomalies like Einstein who was naturally just fucking gifted, okay? We all get that. But there is only balance. Sometimes, like I said, the reason won't always present itself straight away, but you can be assured that everything that happens in life is not just for a reason. It is for a good reason.
Well, and you know, he was on the spectrum and he had terrible struggles with women.
Hopeless.
Terrible.
Absolutely
Yeah.
hopeless. And yeah,
So even Einstein,
he
it wasn't
he
fair.
was
He could
so
not have
awkward.
relationship.
So awkward. Because he was autistic. He was on the spectrum. So awkward,
Mhm.
but he was one of the most brilliant minds of his time. So much going on up here.
Yeah.
I can't the man was born before his time, right? And he went before his time. But and anyway, that's another subject. But everything is for a good reason. Everybody goes through their struggles. The reason for your struggle may not be right in front of you. You may have to actually look for it. You may have to ask the question why. You may have to actually just wait. You just have to be patient, okay? And when you've done all your questioning of why this, why that, and you know, you're starting to learn, you're starting to receive some information, and then out of nowhere, a reason pops up as to what
Yeah.
you were waiting for. Oh, that's why?
And it may not
Oh.
look right. And it may not look anything like you expected at all. It might be completely opposite of what you expected. One of my examples that I've used often is my oldest sister. She struggled with addiction very bad, and it eventually took her life. But at one point when we were younger, I had custody of her two children. But I didn't know I was going to end up with custody, and it wasn't a planned thing. She called me and asked me to go to court. And on the way to court, I said, "Dear God, because that's how I start my prayers. Dear God, whatever happens with my sister and her husband, just make sure that the children are okay. Just make sure that the children are watched over. And then we sat in the courtroom, and what happens? The judge takes the kids and ends up giving them to me. And I'm driving home with two little ones in my back seat. Now I got a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. I'm not wanting little ones, but I'm driving home and I'm thinking, good one, God. You made sure that the children were taken care of no matter what by giving them to
Yep.
me. So my
Yep.
point of that story is you be careful what you ask for, one,
That's right.
because God or the higher power or the
Works
divine
in very,
wants
very
you to
mysterious
have
ways.
what you ask for. He wants
Exactly.
you to answer you and he wants to give you all the good things. And if you ask for children to be taken care of, in my world at least, you're going to end up with children in your house to take care of.
That's right. Because you
So
are.
it
Because
just shows how,
your intention is everything, and your intention was nothing
right,
but good for those kids. You like, please make sure they're
right,
taken care of. Well, you sound like someone who knows how to take care of kids because you want nothing but the best for them. I'm going to make sure they go with you.
my point.
Yeah,
Exactly,
absolutely.
exactly.
Maybe if I
And
was the adjudicator, I would
that's
have done the same.
just an example of how it works. It might not look the way you expected, and then you might be like, oh my gosh, why am I raising these? So when that little kid says, hey, come wipe my butt, and you're like, holy crap, how am I back where I was, wiping butts?
It's like that. It's like that old that old story when they people are going, oh, um, why doesn't God answer my prayers and all that sort of stuff? Well, you ask God for for money, so He gave you an opportunity to go flip some burgers and make some money. You wanted an easy handout,
Right.
but that's not what you get. You get an opportunity to go and
You
work for
want
your
to
money.
win the lottery.
That's right. Doesn't work like that. You wanted wisdom. He gave you a problem for you to solve. Because when you finish solving that problem, you're going to be wise as fuck.
You wanted patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put you
You
in a very
want
difficult
patience, so
position
you
where
give
you have to
someone
learn to
slow.
bite your tongue. Yeah, exactly. You wanted patience, he give you two kids to look after. That'd teach you patience.
Right?
Yep. So, but
There's
anyway,
always lessons to be
that's,
learned. It's just a matter of putting the
yeah.
antenna
And
up.
you can ask, but sometimes the answer will be no. I've actually never heard the answer be no yet, Kylie. To be honest, that's just me. That's my experience. I've never heard the answer be no. I've always had the answer come through as a yes, but the yes just doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like. And that's the truth. The answer has always been yes for me because the universe or God does not actually know how to say no to it. It may say, you're not ready for it just yet, but the answer is yes, it's coming, but you've got to do this. You have to do this because there's no space or you're not ready for it. You're not able to accept this yet. You've got to clear some space for it to come through. So it's not a no. All right. And sometimes it looks like the answer's no. It's just come at you in a different way. Sometimes when we want
It's patience. Yes.
it is not in our best interest, sometimes it's a no. Or that's right, it's a not yet. You'll find a lot of the time it's not yet. There's
Not yet.
something that you need to adjust. Okay, you need to maneuver in your life to clear that space to make room, yeah, for whatever it is to come in. That's why it's important to always just keep energy flowing, keep it moving. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's yeah. I've actually
And
never.
and you won't run out. I think people get selfish with their energy and their love and their uh, all their goodness. They get
Yeah,
selfish with it. And I think it's important to remember that no matter how much you put out there, I always say buckets full of love. I have buckets full. I got
right.
plenty for you. I got plenty for me. I got plenty for every single person
Yeah,
on here. And every time I throw out one little piece of love, I get 10 back.
the 10
I
back.
get more back. I got so much love that exploding out my ears,
Yeah,
right? And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And when you think you're getting a no or a not now or a be patient, really just keep putting it out there and put it out there double it. double it every day.
Double
Put out
down.
that
Yeah.
good, put out that sunshine and that positive vibration, and it will continue to go your way. It will continue to, but it's hard to do all day, every day, and allow yourself to not do it sometimes too.
Yeah.
There's days where I have to be alone. I have to isolate and be alone and recharge and pray. A lot of people forget to give yourself time to meditate or pray, and you don't need a lot. You
No.
can do it 5 seconds before you come on a live with Rams, and you can just say one word like, may the thoughts and words from my head and my mouth be directly from you.
Yeah.
Amen. And that can be enough because you've done enough time to get in that spot. Once you practice your breathing and once you practice your prayers, it's easy to get there and do it all day long. Do it all day long.
Yeah. I don't do the your orthodox style or your conventional style of praying. Like I say, that you've got your few people who like to kneel down and put their hands together on a pew and do that, and then you've got others who like to do that, and then you've got others who sit there with the beads in their hands, the rosary beads or something, and then you'll see this whack job that's wearing glasses and calls himself Tarot Daddy, and he's just sitting there like this. He's just sitting there like that, and he might have his eyes closed, and my forearms or my elbows are just sitting over my knees, and I'm just doing nothing. You can't hear me say anything because I'm not saying anything. You can't see me, my lips moving, nothing. But if you can read my thoughts, I can guarantee you can definitely hear me and another spirit or another voice talking. That we're definitely exchanging words, That's how I do it. And that's why I have been criticized. Oh, he doesn't even pray. That's because I don't tell people, because it's not their business. It's mine.
Right.
It's personal.
Right.
Everyone's relationship with their divine creator is personal. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's only between you and your creator, because the love relationship that you have is going to be unique to everybody else's. Like the love that you have for your child or the love that you have for your mother, because I don't know, it's not my business of who's got kids and who doesn't, but the love that you have for a family member, child or mother, is going to be different to the love that your friend has for their child or their mother. And the love that you have for your child, if you're a grandparent, is going to be different to the love that they have for their child. I'm not saying it's any more or any less. It's different because it's personal. Remember?
Oh, it's definitely more. Grandmas definitely love the kids more than moms.
Remember the difference?
No doubt.
0.002%. Within that 0.002% is what makes us all unique. Even the way we express our love. That's what makes this life so amazing, is the uniqueness. Yeah, it's the uniqueness. So I am going to have to call it because it's 11 o'clock here and I'm getting a little bit knackered. But I would just like to say, Janelle, thank you so much for coming up. And please, if you ever feel like doing this again, and, guys, remember Janelle is actually like a professional, not just like, someone who sits in the comments. She actually is a professional as well. Like she does this as her job. This is her thing. She is here, okay? She's been hiding amongst you all, observing. No, she's been sitting here, okay, on her own journey, her own healing journey, because everybody has their own healing to do. Everybody has their own learning and growing to do, like I have. Little secret, I've been healing with you the whole time, all right? Because we all do. If you ever feel like you need to connect with someone like Janelle, just ask Janelle. And if she is unable to, she's actually currently busy, she'll probably say, just wait this day, or I can refer you to someone, because she'll know a lot of people as well. Remember when I said, when someone offers you help or something like that, like, fucking accept it, okay? Especially like when you know you're struggling. If you know you're struggling, accept the help. Accept the help that's being offered. You don't have to do it alone all the time. Let people show you that they care about you. Let people show you that they love you. Don't be, as I said, self-destructive and push people away. You are only hurting
Exactly.
yourself, and you don't have to hurt yourself. You do not have to torture yourself. You are allowed to be loved. You are allowed to love. You are allowed to accept help, and you are allowed to offer help, okay?
And when you start to let that love flow and when you start to accept it and give it, it's not scary and it doesn't hurt as bad as you think it may to face some of those things. It doesn't hurt. It actually helps. It makes you feel better.
I'm going to add to that. And I reckon there's a few people in here that will be able to relate to this. When Janelle said, I actually got emotional with thinking about it, okay? And this is dead set. Luckily, the glasses are on because you can't see my eyes well up. It doesn't hurt, but I can tell you right now, when you finally accept the help and you realize just how much you have pushed away and how much you have caused pain within yourself, you are going to actually feel the release. And it's like the hurt from how much you have missed and how much you could have avoided the hurt. And it's going to hurt in that moment of how I could have avoided all of this if I had just let someone in, because that's what I did. I pushed so many people away because I was afraid of, it's that avoidance attachment thing. You get so used to picking up your own pieces after being shattered all the time, you know, after being broken into a million pieces, you get tired of picking up all the pieces. So you just protect yourself. You don't let people in. That's what happens with avoidance attachment. You're so used to picking up all your pieces that you just shut down. You block them out. You are unreadable. You make yourself unlovable so that it's easier, because it's like, I don't want to hurt them, because if they go to hurt me, I'm going to hurt them so I don't get hurt first.
I'll do it first. Yep.
I'm going to hurt you so you don't hurt me first. And then if you go away, I don't have to pick up the own pieces of myself like I have 50 other times. That is just human. It is human. We are human. We make these mistakes. It is just self-destructive bullshit that we need to just learn to get out of. You will realize in that moment, it's going to be a huge release. Okay, it's going to be a huge release when you are in that moment of allowing that love in to help yourself. You're going to just go, I can't believe like how stupid I've been. I can't believe that people, you actually love me. Oh my God. Like you turn into a blubbering mess.
Yes. And each day you might have to do it again for a long time. You might have to do it again over and over. And I always say, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And the rest of your life can look any way you want it to. Today is the first day, and it's a good one. It's a good day.
It's amazing. Do you see why Janelle is so amazing? She just has the perfect anecdotes, responses, simple things. Simple responses. So this is why I'm saying we need Janelle to every now and again pop up and come up and share her wisdom, her knowledge, her experience, and these, as Janelle called it, buckets of love. I don't think they're buckets. I think they're fucking truckloads, personally, because I can feel this one bursting at the seams, just ready to tip up the truck and go beep, 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 and just watch the love just slide out over everybody. just the love slide out like concrete, like gravel over the road, and just smother us all with her love.
I will.
There's a lot to benefit from. Honestly, I'm telling you now, there's a lot to benefit from. This lovely woman is in her divine feminine with that nurturing love, and wants to share it with everybody, wants to help people heal themselves on their journey. And I think, this is just me, I think that we're crazy if we don't acknowledge it and utilize it. We don't utilize this gift that we've been given. Okay. And also we will help Janelle with whatever we can, with whatever experiences we've been through, or whatever knowledge we've attained along our journey, which Janelle might not know about. Because like I said, I've got my 41 years of life experience, which is very unique, very, very unique. It's different. I've seen some pretty shady shit, which I can offer, and it's there. It's there. Have it here. Like, you want some confidence? You think truckloads? I got more than truckloads of confidence. I have shitloads of it. If you want it, here, have it. It's yours. You know what I mean? If you want love, I got tons of that too. Here, have it. It's yours. If you want some wisdom, I've got a decent amount. Here, it's yours. All right. Whatever it is, we've got it. You can have it. You can have as much as you want.
We'll share. We'll share with everybody.
We'll share it. Like Sean, he's got his experiences, his wisdom, knowledge. Chels, Spud, Mel, Josh, they all have. As far as we've all got something to offer. Yeah, Josh he's fucking smart. Mel has so much wisdom, especially when it comes to like her cultural understanding, stuff that even
And
spooks
that's
out
huge. That's
her
stuff I want to
own.
learn more about.
Oh my God, it's astounding. She is very, very wise. Chels is very, very wise across a lot of different aspects of life. She, that I know a little bit about a lot of different things. That's Chels. She knows a little bit about a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love watching. I love her spirit. One of my blessings is to be able to see a little bit deeper into people and kind of where they're coming from. And I absolutely love the feeling I get every time she's in the room. Every time.
yeah,
Yeah. She's very special. Chelsea is very special.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed to know these people. You know what I mean? I'm very, very blessed to know them, and to have them in my life. Even though I'm on my own journey at the moment, and it's kind of hard because it's somewhat a lonely one, because I've got my job, my task that I need to do. I have my thing that I need to do, and no one can do it for me. This is the thing. No one can do it for me. I have to do it. I have to go through it. I have to complete it. It doesn't give me an abundance of time. So, but when it's done, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. But when I say this, guys, if you guys can utilize, like Chels in the comments, I'm sure Mel will be, I think she's going to be busy for a while though. She's got a personal, like a holiday or something coming up. You know what I mean? So, but she's got some wisdom, and it's not just her own like cultural stuff. Like, she's got wisdom about a lot of different other things too. She's got a lot of knowledge from others. And Josh, Spud, crazy. Like, and I said Chels, like there is so much there on offer. If people are here every day and you just feel that connection to them, and it's like, I feel like they know something, just shoot them a question. They're here. Just shoot them a question,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Even if you only get one nugget that day, that's all you need to get you,
That's it.
Sometimes that's all you need. That's the whole reason you're there, is for that one little nugget
Yeah.
that'll help. What was it wasn't it last week, Rams, that we talked about the difference between prayer and meditation?
Yeah.
Prayer being asking God, and meditation being hearing the answer, right? And
Right.
that was Dalai Lama. I'm listening to the Book of Joy. It's the
Yeah.
Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And
Yeah.
I had heard it in that. I'm listening on Audible. And anyway, that
Yeah.
one little nugget you latched on to,
Yeah.
right?
Loved it.
And I did as well, because you did, because you brought it up. I latched onto it and have really thought about it quite a bit since that
Yeah.
last time,
Yeah.
to
That's what.
clarify my own, because I do meditate and I do pray, you know.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like,
So
I do meditate.
that's my
When I meditate, it's purely I'm just listening. I'm not talking. I'm keeping myself
answer.
like that. And I'm just listening to anything that needs to be told to me. It's any questions that I've already asked. I'm waiting for responses back. I'm waiting for answers. I'm waiting for anything. But when I'm praying, okay, so that people know like what I'm saying, when I'm having my requests put forward, that's me praying because it's a request. I'm praying,
Right.
asking for something for
Yes.
someone. Can you help this person? Can you look after this person? Can you guide this person? Can you bring them happiness or whatever it is, So one is asking, the other
Right.
is receiving the answer. I'm asking the question, receiving the answer.
And really, the trick is hearing the answer,
Yeah,
taking that time to be quiet and go within and hear the answer, and not doubt it and not question it. Just
that's
accept
it.
this is what it
Yeah,
is. This is the answer that you got, and so be it.
yeah, that's it. Exactly. So yeah, and like I've always known the the process of it. Like I know what one is and I know what the other is because I am, therefore I do. I don't actually ask, oh, what is that I'm doing? I just do it.
Yeah.
But when you said it that way, I went, oh my God, that is brilliant. I love how you actually put that. That it was just amazing because now I can put into words what it is that I'm doing.
And that's what I'm working on with I sent Rams, and people who aren't on here or who are on here wouldn't know this, but I sent him this theory that I'm working on, the love theory, which eventually, if I ever finish my doctorate, will be part of that doctorate. But anyway, my love theory is basically, that the brain and the heart and the brain are hooked together genetically. There's a lot of neural science, and I'm not going to get into all of that at all, or Rams will never get to bed. But basically, what you feel and think in your heart sends direct signals to your brain. It's biological, and it's proven through brain mapping, through scientific. And my point being that you can physically and mentally do this. Anyone, and it's proven. And that's what I want. I want that evidence-based proof that you can be more loving, that you can spread love around the world. Truly, right now, all you have to do is connect the heart and brain and put it out there. Put your buckets of love out, and
Yeah.
we can do it. All of us together can create a lot of love, a whole lot more love than what's out there right now. Like Zeppelin,
Yeah.
whole lot of love.
Hold on. Yep. So, there you go, guys. You have heard it here first. And yes, it is
Now you
true.
get
I
to
did
do
start
a
this way.
collective, right, Rams?
I can do a collective for you. That's what you.
Thank you.
That's what you want. I can do a collective. All right. I'll do a collective. Just trying to think which.
I'm gonna go down to comments.
All right, lovely. Thank you for being up here. It was great. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it was so good. So good. All right. This will be the collective. That will finish off the evening for me. But I don't know. It could be just me. All right. It could just be me. Am I on every night? Nah, not every night. Not every night. I do need my own time. All right. It could just be me, but I feel like that this live so far, very different. And when I say very different, I mean in contrast to